Yeah, so this is the museum room at St James Park. So it's part of a heritage funded project that we did a couple of years ago, part of a series of 3. So we're now on the celebrating our heritage part of the trilogy, and the museum room is part of a broader sort of programme of work to celebrate our club and the trust all across the stadium. So there's loads of displays. So it's not just this room. The museum is kind of stadium-wide approach. It's for all the fans really. So it's all out in the Red Square and in the stands and various other places, including the Hall of Fame, which is definitely worth checking out in the Stagecoach stand when fans can return.
And like I say, the museum room is predominantly used as well on the tours of St James Park, which sadly can't operate at the moment. But I mean, when they can come back, it's definitely worth a visit, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I think people really should take in the tours if they've not had a chance. It's a way of looking at the stadium. In a different way to the match day experience, and there's lots more to it. It kind of mixes the story of the football club, the history, along with the modern match day experience. So you see the changing rooms and all the behind the scenes spaces here at the park, but you also get to hear a bit about how the club was founded and the various adventures we've been on along the way. So definitely worth an hour or so of someone's time or a group's time. So as soon as those can start again, then we'll definitely be promoting them and get people here, get people involved.
I mean, what kind of items have you got in it, and how did you come about a lot of it? I mean, quite a lot of it's been donated, hasn't it?
It's massive. It's really relied on fans and the community. That's the whole point. It's the history is the people's history. It's the club's history, not ours. So we've got thousands of items. We really started sort of 6 years ago, but of course the club started hundreds of years ago, and so people have been collecting things for years. But now we've got a space where they can be looked after properly and researched properly, and we have lots of club volunteers. We have volunteers from the University of Exeter come in, so sort of turned it into what we say: collect, preserve, share, and celebrate the history. But it provides sort of learning opportunities for people, which I think is a nice way to do that. Football's a good way of getting involved and learning about stuff. So it's been very enjoyable to do, and enjoyable and valuable for people who've connected with it.
I mean, as part of this little mini series, I think we're going to get you to pick out one of your maybe favourite or most interesting items from the archive. Definitely. So what have you got for us today?
Well, as I said, we've got thousands of items. We've got tens of thousands of photographs now. But one little item that I've picked out today is, you want to zoom in on that, it's a season ticket from the 1920-21 season, which of course was 100 years ago, and it was our first season in the English Football League as a professional football club. So that's it's a very unique item, and again it's another item that was donated to us. It was brought to an event that we did, and we were asked if we would like it, and of course we would, because it's pretty special. It's quite an amazing little object in itself. It's very different to the season ticket that you would.
I was going to say,
today.
In modern times, everything seems to get smaller. Yet we seem to have gone the opposite.
No,
and the season ticket is about 10 times the size.
This is compact. It just says on the front, the Exeter City Football Club season 1920-21 ground admission ticket.
So is there anything inside?
Yeah, so it's in this sort of little folder, in this little case, and open it up, and it's quite simple. It's pre-photocopy a day, so not so much risk of forgery. And then you just open it up, and it really couldn't be more basic. It's numbered. So it's number 467. Has the holder's name, his address, and issued by, which is Sid Thomas, who's in the Hall of Fame that I mentioned earlier. And it has the little stamp and the price.
A little cheaper than today's prices, looks like.
It's a touch cheaper. I've not worked out the rate of exchange, the historic rate of exchange, but you'd imagine it's a touch cheaper. But it explains what the ticket's for, and it was only for league matches only. But it's quite exciting to think 100 years ago someone was coming into the ground with this lovely little item to come and see that first game against Brentford.
What was the score that day?
It was 3-0. It was 3-0, and 3 debutants scored 3 goals. So it was a perfect start to the season. There was around 5,500-6,000 fans at kickoff, and then there was about 7,000 people by the end of the game, just sort of descending on the park. So yeah, to think that someone sort of came up with this, excited about the new league season, went through the turnstile by the old grandstand, which is a bit more agricultural than even the one that we just replaced. Walked up the stairs into the ground, packed stand. And a really, really amazing football game for them to come and watch. So it's a treasured item. If we were doing this in Antiques Roadshow style, you'd probably ask me what it's worth. But of course, with most of the items we have here,
priceless, aren't they?
It's priceless, Scotty. This one in particular is priceless. It's one of a kind, and for it to have survived 100 years, given the material that it's made out of, is quite amazing. And so that's really one of the purposes of the museum work we do here, is to make sure this stuff is looked after and preserved for future generations, and for people like me to witter on about it.
And any ideas what you were going to talk to us about next week?
Next week we'll see how the games go. I'm gonna have a little think about matches and things that might fit. There's dozens of items that I particularly like, so I won't give anything away now, but I'm sure it'll be something interesting.
Thank you, Will.
Thank you, Scott.